Good morning. How's everybody doing today? We we're good. We're hot, live. Good. Great. I hope everybody's doing okay. Good. Okay. I know. Whoa. Um, all right. So here we are. We're back in the. You continue on these are still the journey passages, and you have Jesus going along. And now this one's interesting, and I'm kind of interested. Not. I mean, once you hear what Jesus says, that's one thing. But how do you hear the voice in which he says it? And that's going to be more how we hear. I mean, interesting. What is the Jesus that you've got pictured in your head? How does this come across, and what kind of potential um, understanding that might have? And I've always heard it a certain way until maybe this week, and now I'm hearing it a different way. And so that's kind of changed, like, really everything about how I'm interacting here with the passage. And there are a lot of people fanning here. I'm so sorry. I don't. I know. Ashlyn is not. I know. I don't know. We think everything's running. We don't. Okay. Just think. This is everybody goes. Well, back when the church was, here before. Well, here you go. This is what it was like. And so, yeah. Uh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's one of them hellfire damnation passages, and we're gonna play it out. Okay. What? Yeah. Uh, um, I've never done that, but there's the first time for everything. Maybe before I retire. Okay. Um, so here we go. Here's Jesus, and this is just kind of a continuation. Now, does it? Is this the writer doing this, or is this? I mean, is Jesus just rapid firing? I I don't know, but obviously the writer has kind of stuck these things together on purpose, and we take it from there. So here's Jesus. I came to bring fire to the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. I have a baptism with which to be baptized, and what stress I am under until it is completed. Do you think that I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I tell you, but rather division. From now on, 5 in one household will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother in law against her daughter in law, and daughter in law against mother in law. Um, he also said to the crowds, when you see a cloud rising in the west, you immediately say, it is going to rain, and so it happens. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, there will be scorching heat, and it happens. You hypocrites, you know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time? Okay, familiar? No. So yes, I love that. It's like some are like, yeah, and some are like, oh. Sounds like Thanksgiving. Please say more. Oh, 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 oh. Any family gathering, yeah, but I got you. I was like, Thanksgiving? That's what your Thanksgiving is? Well, yeah, yeah. That seems about right. Yeah, no, that's right. Um, so, what did you hear? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of his words do cause problems on that as time plays along. Now, by the time you get to 125 in the Bar Kokhba revolution, where the Jewish folks kind of strike out against the Roman government, that was when the Christians started going, "Ooh, that's not us. We're not. That's just them. That's just them, not us." Just want to point that out to everybody while you're, slaughtering. but why? So there. Okay, so there is that kind of sense of call. Now, what would you say, Phil? He's in a hurry. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so there you go. You hear, so that, I've always heard this voice of Jesus going, everybody sees me as this nice little guy, and and then suddenly he just goes, no, wait a second, y'all. I want y'all to, uh, because he's coming at his baptism, which is, most scholarship read that as, he knows that's what he's calling his crucifixion. Hey, I've got this baptism that I'm about to come into, and uh, I got stuff going on here, and
You guys not paying attention.
you can't even, y'all interpret all this other stuff, but you can't, yeah, you can't recognize what's happening in the moment.
Yeah, Abraham keeps indirectly telling them, I'm not going to be here much longer. I'm not going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to happen. They still have this love,
Mm-hmm.
day by day kind of attitude. And he's going to get frustrated.
Right. Okay. Well, let's and keep the. Yeah, I was going to say keep the emphasis on they until a little bit, and we'll get to us in a second. But okay, so this notion, how does this bump up against the Jesus that we know? Okay. Ooh, that's it. Oh, now there's a really good point. Oh, now say more about that. I mean, you just. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Right. And so does that, so to pick you a little more on that, so does that bother you, or does it just make you go, there you go, helpful, because we struggle with this Jesus, fully God, fully human part, right? I mean, first of all, that is it when we say fully God, fully human. And we say it so easily in the church that we can gloss right over. Oh yes, he's fully God, fully human. We've said that. We know we believe it. Whoop, okay, let's move on. But then when we start going, ooh, how does that play out in the moment? That's a little different, right? That Jesus has some sense of frustration, urgency, um, stress, and that comes back to play, does it not, in the Garden of Gethsemane? Hey, um, I'm here. I don't really want to do this, but, and we go, wow, okay. So now, what does that do for us about Jesus and our own understanding of who we are as disciples? That when we have this Jesus who goes, ooh, he's under stress here. And that kind of bumps up against what we want to think about Jesus, right? Now the Jesus of John's gospel is a little more. I'd have to think back to, does he have places in John's gospel where he has stress? Um, not so, I mean, John's gospel has him a little more thought out. Like, yeah, he knows all this is coming, and he's got it out figured out ahead of time. Um, but here, there does seem to be a moment of bubbling up here. We're running out of time. They're not catching on. He feels stress. So, what does that do for us? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, uh-huh. Well, now that's for another week. Yeah, I personally, I got enough this week to deal with. I don't need any more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 There is a sense of a real, or at least to some extent, of frustration here, and what is drawing that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. It's a great question. I mean, yeah, how do they get it? And of course, again, like I've always said, we're post resurrection, so we don't. I mean, it's really hard for us to. I mean, and again, I mean, when we have people pop up in our culture who start making bold claims, um, what do we tend to do with them? Yeah, I mean, I mean,
We ran against other people, like they did. They had false prophets that were magicians that would perform the so-called miracles.
mhm,
So they've seen magic in the past. And
mhm,
Jesus comes here, but he's resurrecting people. And, he's doing greater things than they were saying. And they're
mhm,
like, well, this is just another
mhm.
really good musician,
Magician. Hmm.
magician,
Hmm.
false prophet, or is he the real one?
Right.
And a lot of them, quite a few of them, do understand it's him. Others still have doubts.
Well,
And I mean, even
mm,
it seems like some of the apostles
mm,
or people that are following him still have some doubts. That's what he's saying. Come on, what have I got to do? I've really got 24 hours left. You guys still don't have it. You
mhm.
know,
Does have a great sense of urgency here. And then remember, let us all remember, when we get to the cross, how many of them are still standing? Three people, only one of the apostles, two women. Hmm.
Well, when you're
Okay.
talking
Yeah.
about our reaction to
Yeah.
somebody who makes a claim,
Right.
some people believe it and some people don't. And is
Uh-huh.
that what's dividing the families? Is
Hmm.
that what's causing the division?
What is it that's causing the division? That's a great question. I mean, I have an answer in the sermon, but that's, well, we're not getting to that.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're a Jewish family
Yeah.
and two or
Yeah.
three walk away,
Yeah.
the day you walk away from the family, so
Mm.
it's all or nothing, right? So you're
Community's community.
really
Hmm.
basically
Right.
So you're, that's scary division.
Yeah.
I was also struck by the very last verse where it says,
Mm.
"Why do you not know how to interpret the present time?"
Yeah.
What that said to me was that I want to believe what I want to believe,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily what he's saying up here. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to believe that he's causing division.
Mm.
So
Oh. Yeah, we don't want to believe that Jesus could actually cause division.
we
Interesting.
don't think of division. We think of, it's
What do we think of it?
enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Okay.
We
What I
take,
think is right, what do you think is wrong?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. All right.
we don't put it up on deeper. We put it up on non-believer.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah. But he's kind of owning it today, right? Interesting. I remember back in high school, there was such a in my family that my behavior changed so greatly from when I was not going to church to when I started going to church that my parents thought that I had joined a cult. That it was such a radical shift in how I was acting that we we had an intervention in the kitchen. I mean, I still remember it, you know. I mean that, and it was because of I don't know that I don't yeah I don't know that I mean I don't know.
More acceptance than
I think it was just
Gave up.
yeah. Well, also then I mean soon after that the family wasn't like the unit anymore, so it really wasn't kind of they had bigger fish to fry than it's just little old me. So so I was just kind of and then it was just kind of like well you're on your own now. So I mean ultimately that's the way it played out. But but I do remember that, and I remember thinking interesting. And don't we think that though, when there is great shift in behavior, that faith can play on people that we go, hmm, interesting. That there is a division that it causes. Hmm.
I mean, you hear it quite often.
Hmm.
Like you have a set of friends,
Mm-hmm.
something happens within
Mm.
you, and those friends don't work anymore.
Yeah.
You have to do that. So you've got a division of
And
like my old friends and my new friends.
that and ultimately that maybe that is where Jesus is coming down on this that that even in the most intimate of connections that we have which are family and it is interesting how some of the I, I don't know how much to make of this and some scholarship makes a lot of it about the choices that he made of saying these people divide or these are the divisions. I, I thought about that all week, and I don't know that I tend to make as much out of the divisions that he picked in the family as opposed to just he just threw out some things.
it's kind of how
Maybe.
people accept though. And I mean, I remember
Mm,
growing up,
mm,
like I was raised in the church,
mm,
but when I got into my mid-teens,
mm.
I was back doing the hippie years. My hair got long, I was wearing President Bell, you know, and I
Oh
was
my gosh, bell bottoms. Oh,
the hippie guy.
ah,
And my parents still
mm,
accepted me. They didn't
uh-huh,
like me, they
right.
accepted me. But
Mm,
people in the neighborhood that I'd grown up on, I knew the family,
mm,
knew the parents well. I say, hello, Mr. Wells, hello.
mm,
All of a sudden, they didn't know me anymore.
yeah.
It's like, Who are you? I don't know you.
Right. Well, and culture does kind of tend to divide us. But here Jesus is saying it's him that is the division. And and so what is it that I mean, I have had I'll share this part of the sermon. I have had people in previous churches where their kids were thinking about seminary, and the families asked me to talk them out of it. Yeah, like we don't want them to do. We want them to be religious, but we don't want them to be crazy. I mean, if you're that, so I mean, faith can cause division, right? And let's think about some of the behavior that Jesus had that might cause division. Some of the things with the religious people, the fact that he hung around with sinners
Send us a tax.
caused great division, right?
Give all your food, give all your clothing and housing away.
And in the Gospel of Luke, it's if you get socked, you turn to the other cheek. He has some. Hmm, hmm. Well, Judas is a part of the group. Yeah. He ultimately gets somewhere else. Yeah. Now, and the Judas of John's gospel is he's already. I mean, he's already stealing from. I mean, he's already. We already know about him. And John, if you read John's gospel, Judas is already a shyster from way back. I mean, we don't know that in Luke's gospel really per se, but he's already kind of out there. But right. Mhm. So Judas would be a part of that. So here's this Jesus, and so what do we do now? We can think about us. What does this one say to us about who Jesus is, who Jesus is to us as the church, who Jesus is to us as the faith? What does it say to us who follow him?
Maybe what I'm saying,
Hmm?
keep saying it over and over. Be
Okay.
prepared.
He keeps saying,
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be coming soon. Things are gonna happen. You need to be out there spreading the word.
Okay.
Not lollygagging away from next
Okay.
year. You need to be doing this now. Spreading the word.
Okay.
Keep focus on what I told you.
Yeah. And so,
He's on the way to the cross.
yeah.
Be prepared, be prepared.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's coming back and he's telling us to be prepared, be prepared.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what about the notion of this aspect of division? That how do we hear that as far as who we are as the church?
There's 10 other churches with different names on the billboard. And everybody thinks some of them think they have it more right than others.
Yeah,
And
right.
others are like, and we're good with it, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, there's division in everything.
And how is that Jesus divides us in the culture too? Like, what does it mean for us as God's people that Jesus is letting us know that if you follow him, there might be division?
It might be very
Or, yeah, or that if we're faithful, if we follow him, we might run into aspects of life that put us over against the other, even in the most intimate relationships that we have.
same thing. I mean, Jesus hung out with sinners,
Yeah.
and we don't typically do
Yeah.
that. I like, it's not like you're going to be friendly
Or if,
the homeless, or you're going to be friendly or whatever.
or if you do as the church, if you actually live out that kind of faith, it might cause you some problems in culture. People going, "Oh, I got the best story for y'all. I can't wait for you to hear it." But but, but I'm not telling it to you now. But it is such a cool story. It is the weirdest way it came about. But yeah, but that this notion that if you live out like Jesus is saying and like he does, some people might go, "Ooh, what's wrong with you?"
Well, I think also some of those things you can do, you have to be afraid to do them. It
Like,
could be dangerous to yourself, like hanging out with the homeless. You don't know.
yeah,
I mean, I like the idea of helping the homeless, but I'm afraid to do it.
Well, that's what I don't think he was actually.
yeah, yeah. I
He
get
wasn't hanging out.
that. You're right, Mr.
He
Chris.
wasn't really hanging out with the sinners. I mean, he
Oh,
was accepting the sinner, but he wasn't going over there and sitting with them and hanging out and partying with them. He was accepting them. If you want to come in and listen,
he
you're
was,
welcome. But
yeah,
I'm not going to go over there and indulge in your sins with you.
but he was embracing the people, and that caused great problems with the religious folks. And but the notion that following Jesus and doing some of these things is very, it's not easy, right? And that does, it even causes tension, maybe division within ourselves. Maybe that to live faithfully causes can cause problems and even division within the congregation. I told you that way back in the late '60s, Laurinburg Pres had their child care. They voted not to integrate it. Caused great division in the church because it was, you know, in that community, it was a real struggle. But that caused division, trying to, I think, the pastor was trying to live faithfully and trying to open it up. They didn't see it that way. Um, caused problems. And so that this notion of being faithful to Jesus can cause us this bumping up against our own culture. And so I guess my notion is this week I don't hear Jesus in this kind of, hey y'all, I come to cause division. Check me out. It's much more an honest voice of saying, uh, just if you're going to follow me, you might need to know, you might need to be aware that this might cause problems for you, even in your family. Um, just thought you might want to know as we go forward. Right. And there is an urgency to him that he's saying that, hey, to live in this faithful way can bring about issues. And as we know, it does. It does cause problems.
They did in the presbytery.
Hmm.
The presbytery did. I mean, this got the divisions of the Presbyterian Church a couple of years ago.
lots of lots of those. So let us think about how living faithfully for Jesus might cause issues for us. But at least then, and then it makes us aware that following him, we go, why is this happening to me? Or why is this causing consternation? And Jesus tells us in John's gospel, hey, they didn't accept me. Why do you think they're going to accept you following me? Hmm. Being faithful, Jesus tells us today, might be a little bit divisive. Now we just have to go be faithful. Let's pray. Gracious Lord, we give thanks for your word that causes us to struggle over what it means to follow you and the urgency of that in everyday life. That sometimes even the closest relationships we have can be put at odds when we listen to your words of forgiveness or grace or mercy. May we be faithful to follow you still.